Get older, we lose our collagen in our skin.
I don't like needles.
I don't either, but it's worth it.
I'm not gonna put needles on my face.
Oh, I had like 10 last week.
No, that's you. Women are weird in that aspect. They
I
go
will
through
not
lengths
go
of
down
suffering.
without a fight.
It's kind of a fight against yourself.
Yeah.
And you're.
I want to win.
I don't know. I mean, like, the gym is hard enough
Yes.
in order to add needles.
I find the needles easier because the gym, I have to like put forth the effort. The needles, I just lay there and they stick them in my face.
Hello, this is so this is the first episode of something new that we're going to try. We want to try a show, not a show, it's a podcast. Right? With some video too. And we're going to try to talk about real estate most of the time. Mm-hmm. I was already given a list of topics that I can't touch, which are... I cannot even mention those, yep. Right? All right, so let's see how this goes.
All right, it's going to be fun.
Her name is Alison Parler.
Yes.
She works in Remax at the Lake. My name is Carlos Uringer. We work in the same office. Mm-hmm. And we want to make this show a little different than other
real estate podcast shows. Mm-hmm. Not so serious, not so much here to teach you anything specific.
Just not letting me talk about.
Share our knowledge with you.
One day we'll talk about it.
We're full of knowledge.
And yeah, so do we have a name? Are we going to agree on a name for the podcast? Are we going to call it a podcast, a show, the program, the pod? Come on, Alison, you gotta be quick.
I know.
Time is money.
I mean, you said southerner.
30 minutes in the south.
30 minutes in the south.
How do you like that name?
Sure.
You like it? 30
I like
minutes,
it, yeah.
30 minutes down south.
Okay.
30 minutes down south. So welcome to 30 minutes down south.
Welcome.
So this is going.
Glad you're with us today.
Yeah, we're gonna try to keep it at 30 minutes. Okay, so that way you can listen to it on your way to work, listen to it on your way to church, listen to it on your way
while you're getting ready in the morning. That's when I listen to podcasts.
Do you listen to podcasts?
I do.
Tell me about it. Which one?
So I used to listen to some real estate ones, but they just got kind of boring.
What's the name of it?
My favorite one is called Getting Shit Done.
Oh, she curse. Getting shit done.
It's very motivating.
Mm-hmm. What is it about?
Getting shit done. I mean,
okay, fair enough. Why are we being called 30 minutes down south?
Because I'm from the south.
Mm-hmm.
And you're from the south.
I'm actually more southern. It's how to say more southerner than you?
More southern.
Southernmost.
You are more southern than I am.
Okay. I'm originally from Alabama.
Mm-hmm. Mississippi?
Alabama is not Mississippi, right?
No.
No.
It's a state beside it.
It's a story. I've told people that I'm from Alabama.
No, I know. I've heard you.
Yeah, some of them believe it.
I've seen it.
And they will call and say,
some very gullible people.
Well, I'm actually being very serious when I say it. I tell people, listen, I am from Alabama. No, this is my serious face. I am from Alabama.
And I'm from New York.
And my parents were hardcore hippies that were using one of the subjects that I'm not allowed to talk about, but it's very psychedelic. Which is not true, but I tell that people say they started their own commune, they started their own village, you know, and they were so secluded. They were so secluded that they didn't let anybody out, you know, and it was so private and secluded that they developed their own accent. That's how I come with this accent. And finally, I was able to escape when I was 21, and here I am, you know. There's no. There's some people that actually believe that part. Then it's just a joke.
But where are you really from?
I'm originally from Venezuela, a small town called La Guaira, beach town. I was born and raised on the ocean.
Do you surf?
I used to. I don't surf here. I tried to surf in Lake Maury, it didn't work. I did the wakeboard thing though.
Did you?
Yeah, I like that. I like wakeboard.
Have you done the wake surfing?
You know, I have not. I haven't had.
I want to try that.
Yeah, I haven't had the opportunity. I had a friend that uses it, but we've never been able to connect. You know, I'm pretty busy most of the time. I do.
We should plan like an office party and do that.
Whose boat?
Well, I don't have a wake boat.
Maybe we can rent one.
We might have a friend that wants.
Purple Martin Boat Rentals is the one that I've recommended.
I think they're just pontoons.
They're just pontoons?
I think so.
Yeah, there's some places that you can rent boats. I think, if I don't recall, there is Lake Maury Marina.
Yeah,
you were able to rent some boats. For people that are visiting here, they need to go and check out the lake. I would 100% recommend to get a boat and explore the lake. It's a huge lake. Lake Maury is it's bigger than I ever thought it was.
It is. It's over 500 miles of shoreline.
Mm-hmm. So back to the show, back to us. Yeah, that sounds very. That's back to us. So tell me, who's Allison Parler?
So I grew up in a small town in South Carolina. Mm-hmm. Moved to Charleston when I graduated high school. Went to college down there.
Okay.
Loved Charleston. Ended up.
Where in Charleston?
I lived on James Island.
Okay.
And then my last year there, I lived in Mount Pleasant.
Mount Pleasant, nice. I'm a Folly Beach guy.
I
like Folly Beach. I bodyboard there. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't actually surfed there. I haven't surfed in years.
Folly Beach is what, the end of America? Isn't that what they call it or something? Edge of America.
What?
It's fallen into the ocean.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
There are houses that, I mean, you can't even get insurance on them because the ocean comes under them during high tide.
And it's eroding it?
Yes. It's eroding it.
So move to Lake Maury.
Yeah.
You don't have that problem with Lake
erosion.
Maury. Yeah, Chapin, South Carolina.
That's right.
So you were saying?
So yeah, went to college in Charleston, got a degree in education.
Okay, so you were a teacher?
I was.
For how long?
Kindergarten teacher. I taught.
Were you eating glue like the movie? You see that movie?
Yes, I did. My kids might have been, but I was not. So I taught school for 10 years and decided to be a stay-at-home mom. Okay. After we had our second child.
Toughest job in the world.
3 months in, I was like, no, this is not for me.
I tried to.
It was hard.
It didn't work out for me. So
you tried to be a stay-at-home mom too?
You were a stay-at-home dad, you know, but yeah, I identify myself as a dad. So yeah, go ahead. So you tried, and then we talk about me. So you tried to be a stay-at-home mom for 3 months, right? And then what?
I realized that I enjoy being a mom. I also enjoy working. And I knew I didn't want to go back into the classroom. So I had to figure out what I could do as another career. We had just sold our first home and bought our second home. And I found it really intriguing. Unlike some agents who want to get their license just to see pretty houses. No, I did. I started out like most part-time agent, you know, let me just get my real estate license. This will be fun. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not if you're a part-time. No, I have a problem with part-time agents. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think they could be good people. They could be great persons, but it's just that when you're buying a house, you're making a huge commitment, not just financially, but your life, everything, you know, and then trusting that to somebody that does it or, you know, for a hobby, just to get extra money. I just don't think it's fair. It's fair to the client. It's fair to somebody that is doing it. Right. You know, it's fair to a friend, because a lot of the clients turn into friends or vice versa. A lot of friends turn into clients. And I experienced that at first when I got my real estate license and I did my first deal. I couldn't believe how anybody trusts me. I mean, to be honest with you, you know, like, think about it. I'm this guy that is coming from
Alabama.
I don't know much the town. I don't know much the laws. I don't know much the laws in real estate. You know, I don't know much about real estate. You know, basically that certification is 5 days school, which, you know,
crazy.
It packs a lot. You know, they try to teach you a lot. So there's a lot of information. It's impossible to have everything stick on that short amount of time.
The guidelines for getting your real estate license, in my opinion, should be much more stringent than they are.
I agree. I agree 100%. Now, that course, that licensing, I think there is a great, if you have time and if you want to get yourself better into real estate, because you don't have to be a realtor to know about real estate, you know. I think that it's so worth it because you really learn a lot about this industry, and this industry touches absolutely everything in the economy, in your personal life, in your family's life, you know, I'm in love with real estate, and just because of the vast amount of opportunities that are out there, you know, for even improving, not just financially, you know, but improving your quality of life, improving yourself, improving everything. That's probably one of my recommendations that I get to people. You know, if you can spare, and it's not too expensive. I mean, I think the license, the course, it's roughly $600-$700, something like that. And then
not less expensive than my 4-year college degree I'm not using.
Yes. You will not go bankrupt if you need to pay a real estate licensing course. So you go ahead and you got your license, right?
I did. Yep.
Then what happens later? What happens after that?
So I started out with another real estate firm in Chapin. Stayed there about 8 months.
Okay.
And switched over to Remax at the Lake.
Okay.
So I've been here. March will be my 7th year here, and I'm going on 8 years in real estate.
Nice.
So it's been a roller coaster. My first full year in real estate, I ended up pregnant with our 3rd baby.
So that was a celebration?
That was a surprise, for sure.
That was a closing gift that David put in there, huh?
It was.
We have to talk. David Parler.
David's my husband.
He's also a mortgage lender.
He's a mortgage lender,
yeah. And he's Allison's husband. Very nice guy, very good lender too. So go ahead.
So yeah, that was like, you know, it was one of those things. You're starting a new business, entrepreneur, counting on no one but yourself, and then I'm adding a 3rd child into the mix.
Wow. Yeah.
So it was kind of like sink or swim. You know, am I going to let this derail me? Yeah. Or am I going to just put my head down and focus on my work and actually hit the 100% club for Remax that year? So,
nice.
Yeah. I was very proud of myself.
For those who don't know, 100% club is a nomination, or it's a prize, an award, like it's a distinction that the company gives to those who have been able to achieve at least $100,000 in GCI. Yeah. GCI is gross commission. Yeah. So that's pretty good. You must have sold around $4 million in real estate in that year. That's a very good number, especially when you look at the fact that very few agents go past the 2nd year.
Yeah, I think in my class, they told us out of, you know, all of us that were sitting in there was probably 30 something in my licensing course, that less than 10% of us would make it through the 1st year. It
is very difficult. The 1st year is extremely difficult. At least for me, it was, luckily we had a second income, or a main, I wouldn't call it even second, you know, it was a main income of stream of income in our house, because my wife was working. That was one of the reasons why we moved down here to South Carolina. And so she basically supported the household, you know, for a good chunk of time, you know, because I wasn't bringing any money, you know.
It's not
actually
quick,
I was
easy money.
Spending money.
Well, that's what I tell people when they're like, I'm thinking about going to get my real estate license. I'm like, great. Make sure you don't need to eat or pay bills. Don't have a car loan, anything like that you need to pay for the first 6 months. And, oh, by the way, you need some savings to pay your brokerage fees, your MLS fees.
Yeah.
Carlos and I are both realtors, so there are fees to be a realtor. We're held to
and you have to spend money to make money.
And you got to spend money to make money.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Heard about me. How'd you get into real estate?
How did I get into real estate? Well, my background.
Being a stay-at-home mom.
I tried that for, actually forced into that. You know, it wasn't my choice, but.
But how fortunate were we both that we even had the opportunity to be able to do
that? I agree with you. You know, it's very fortunate, and I'm not complaining by any means. You know, I'm very grateful that my wife had that job and she was able to support us, me and my son, while we were as soon as we moved in here. Actually, when we were living in there, I wasn't planning to go anywhere, but. I remember we were sitting outside, and this was March. March is the worst month in the entire year if you live in New York, and I'm gonna tell you why. I like hot weather. You know, I was born and raised in the Caribbean. You know, we have 90 degrees weather all year round. You know, there was one night 20 years ago that the temperature dropped to like 55 and everybody was wearing scarves, sweaters.
I might need to invest in some property there because it's getting too cold in South Carolina for me.
So good luck with that. Yeah. I mean, the country is in pretty bad shape. Things seems like it's turning a corner, but socialism just killed that country. But anyway, I was living in New York City. We were living there. I had a pretty good job, and I was talking about March. So the thing with March is that once you start hitting October, you get the summer, right? You get the summer, you enjoy the summer. Once you start hitting September, you know, October, it's getting cold, and then you have to soak up 6 months of cold weather, you know, and the winters in New York are pretty bad because it's not just cold temperature, they're also very windy. So that cold air, you know, goes from every nook and cranny. And if it's rainy, you know, so it gets a lot of rain, cold rain, you know, freezing rain.
So like the weather here this weekend.
Yeah. So then you get January, you're sucking it up. Then you get February, you're done with it. You know, the winter blues are real. Then you get March, right? So March will come up and will give you a lovely 70-degree day. Oh. So you walk outside and it's sunny, it's 70. Winter is fucking over. Everybody's out in the streets half naked. You know, like, yeah, I just curse. Thank you.
I'm trying to get him to behave.
I'm just trying to add some dramatic, you know.
Right.
And I learned somewhere that, you know, people that curse turn out to be smarter.
It's a stress reliever.
Anyway.
But anyway, so you had this beautiful March weekday.
Birds are singing.
Spring is
you listen
on the
to
cusp.
Bob Marley and
it
there's
coming.
it's awesome. The winter is over, you know, and then you hit with another 4 weeks of 40-degree weather and miserable, and you're like, get me out of here. Get me out of here. And during that time, my wife came in and said there's somebody in her office has quit the job that they have in South Carolina, so there was an opening, same position, same salary, but in South Carolina. She got me at South.
How quick can we move?
It's like you saying that we can move in a place that starts with South, with the word South on it. Yeah. Let's give it a shot. So we started to do the research. We started to figure it out where to live. You know, what's shaping. What about the school system? Our son was 3 years old back in that time. So school was very important for us. Then we started to look at what houses we were able to afford. And listen, we were living in a 780 square feet condo, 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, with a little bit of a patio, and we were able to sell that place and be able to buy a house on the lake for the exact same price. it was nuts. It was insane. When we came here, so we came here in June to take a look and visit. No, July. It was the 4th of July weekend, you know, because we started talking about it. Boom, let's go and check it out. We came here and it was just gorgeous. We spent 3 days around. We drove around.
Most people who come to visit come back to stay.
Well, let me tell you something. One of the things I remember is that we were driving through Timberlake, right, the neighborhood, and I turned around and told my wife, I think they're confusing me with some dude in here. She's like, why? Because we're driving and people just waving at me. It's crazy. They must be
Welcome
confusing
to South
me.
Carolina.
They must be confusing me with some guy, because there's got to be something like that. So boom, we decided to pull the trigger, and by November we made the decision. She accepted the job. We turns the wheel. No, that's earlier in November. We ended up moving here in December. Okay, so December that year, boom, we were already officially moving in South Carolina. So I started to apply. I had to quit my job over there.
And what were you doing?
Broadcasting. I was working in a company called Bexel that we provided television equipment and services, pretty much supporting big events. I mean, they will send me to the Olympics. I spent 3 months in London covering the Olympics. We go to Super Bowls. We go to US Open. The tennis US Open were pretty cool. You know,
you get to hang out with me.
Without being able to curse. Anyway, fun time. Great decision. So I started to apply for companies, television. I even applied for local TVs. And, you know, even my resume, I would put a note and say, hey, you don't have to pay me. Give me 1 month. Give me 1 month and I'll provide value. And then we'll talk about paying. Nothing, Alison. Nothing. Not even a phone call. Back then, remember, they were coming out of the 2008, 2009 depression. So it was very tight.
You moved here what year? We moved in
2010.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were a few years ahead of me.
No, 2010, Damien was born. I'm sorry, 2013.
Okay, so same year I moved here.
So, you know, the job market for what I was doing was very tight. Very, very tight. So my uncle, who at that moment was a real estate agent in New York, said, why don't you go ahead and take the test? I'm like, no, man, what are you talking about? Test for what? We got a realtor? You think that I'm the guy that's going to be putting balloons in a house and baking
fresh cookies
on an open house? Man, that's not for me. That's not a job for me, man. Come on, you go ahead. Go to school, you know, see what happens, you know, there could be good money in there. And I said, man, you know, nobody knows me here. What are we gonna do? Just what you got to lose? And they're like, well, yeah, I was just staying home watching too much cartoons. And and I was like, you know, fuck it, I don't have anything to lose. So I went over there, I took the class, and one of the things I remember that it just like impacted me the most is I didn't know as much as I thought I knew. It was way more complex than baking cookies and putting balloons outside. There's a lot of information behind it. And they try to pack that in 5 days, you know.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
I think it's what mine was.
2 weeks, something like that.
Well,
I remember. I did intensive.
Yeah.
I want to get out of the house too. I've been stuck in the house for too long.
Yeah, we had bought and sold 3 houses by the time I went and got my license.
Yeah.
And it was like, holy moly.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
It's a lot. And, you know, it was particularly challenging when I was studying, because there was a lot of words in there that I've never heard in my life, right? And then when I did the translation, even the Spanish translation was completely different for me. So there were new terms both in English and in Spanish.
Right.
So I did have to go the extra mile and learn not just the definition of the word, but also, you know, what implies.
Be able to apply it.
And yeah, so I think that at the end that helped me expand my knowledge, you know, because I never gave anything for granted when it became to a word on the contract. I needed to make sure that I understand every single bit of it, because otherwise, what's the point, right? So by not understanding it at the beginning, I was able to cut the assumption that I knew what they were talking about. So I had to be honest with myself and say, you know what, I don't know what the fuck that means, so I have to go and read it. And read what it is. So then after that, I came out and then realized, you know, and I had my license, and I was very excited, took my test, I passed the test on the first time, I got my license all good, and, you know, I was excited, you know.
I was waiting excited on the clients to show up.
And I started to interview, as they told me to do, interview brokerage and see which one was a better fit for me. And I got an interview, Rhonda Walsh, at that time. She was with Russell and Jeffcoat. And they have a very, very, very strong program for new agents with boot camps and teaching them the ropes, and that's where I started my career, you know. And I'm very appreciative of her and everything, all the time that she took to teach me. I think that she's one of the best, not just women, but to say one of the best agents, you know, I've been around. Her knowledge is unbelievable, and she's just a really, really good person. So that inspired me to be somebody like her, to be honest with you. My first year sucked. Big time. Imagine, you're trying to convince somebody to trust you with your life savings and with, you know, the biggest investment you've ever done in your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
To somebody that is not from this town, somebody that's actually not from this country, somebody that English is a second language, you know. I mean,
good luck with that one.
Yeah, there are some crazy folks out there that did trust me, you know. They're watching this. Hello, you know who you are. Most of them became my friends, you know, and you know, it's been a ride. It's been a wild ride. The second year for me was really good, and that's where not knowing what I was doing filled me up with insecurities. But as time progressed and experience started summing up, that insecurity was fading out, you know. And that's something that I like to tell my clients right now, and even not just clients, people that I talk to. Been there, done that. You know, I'm not a know-it-all. You know, nobody knows it all. One thing nobody knows, and I can tell you right now for sure, nobody can time the market. You know, and that's the number one mistake that people try to do, time the market. I always get the question. Hey, do you think it's the right time to buy? Do you have the money to buy? Are you ready to buy? Do you qualify to buy? Do you want to buy? Do you want to do it? Then yes, it's the time. Whatever is happening in the market really doesn't matter. To be honest, it doesn't matter, because down the road it could get worse.
One of the real estate coaches that I actually do listen to, he says the market's always good for somebody.
Correct.
And it just depends on your situation. I mean, even when interest rates were at 2.5%, well, if you didn't have a job with a steady income and a down payment in the bank, then it wasn't a good market for you.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned, not funny, it's interesting that you mentioned interest rate, because that's one of the main topics that people come and touch, you know, and they say, hey, what about the interest rate? The interest rates are up. I'm just going to wait till the interest rates go down. But you know what's going to happen if the interest rates go down again? Prices are going to go up, you know, and right now we're in a position that if you are being represented by an agent that knows what he's doing on the buyer side, you know, you can negotiate stuff, you know, unless the house is priced very aggressively and you have several offers on the table. Most likely, a property that's been in the market for over 2 weeks are open for negotiation. And one of the things that you can negotiate in there are closing costs. And with closing costs, you can buy down your rate.
That's right.
And it's, you know, it's a balance. It's always a balance.
And I think that's where having a seasoned agent can help with clients, because, like you said, we've been there, we've done that. We've seen, we came in.
You feel old. Seasoned. She does it so nice, though. You're a seasoned agent. You know, you're fucking old.
No, but you and I came into real estate when the market wasn't easy.
It was not easy.
I mean, you know, you put a house on the market, you were looking at a minimum of 45 days. I mean, that was nothing. If you sold a house in 45 days for you,
3 months for me. See, it was so bad. I sucked.
You know, and then we went into the crazy market of the last 2 years where 45 seconds and it's gone.
Last year was insane. Last year was, I've never seen anything like that. You know, it was discouraged for a lot of people, you know, poor VA lenders, you know.
It was just, I mean, it was discouraging, I think, for all of us. I mean, buyers, sellers, agents, even though people always said, oh, I know you're loving this market. Well, I wasn't loving it because I felt like buyers were buying things they didn't necessarily want.
I did love the fact that we didn't have to deal with repair addendums.
Oh, that was the best.
At this point, we're like, all right, take it or leave it. Yep. Well, I have a problem with the washer and dryer.
No,
it's like the soup guy, the soup Nazi. Next, no soup for you, no house for you. So, 30 minutes on the nose right now. We want to say thank you for listening. We're going to be touching real estate subjects. Moving on, we're going to try to do this once a week, and we're going to try to get better at this. This is our first time doing this together.
Right.
I know you've done
a little bit
of video. I've done a lot of video behind the cameras and some of the videos in front of the camera, but this is the first time that I'm sharing a camera with you. Feels good. You're good.
Thanks.
See you next week.
Yes.
Bye.